Look at that. So here she is, post track day. I didn't touch anything on her. I actually haven't driven her at all since the track day that I posted last time. So yeah, this is the post track day video. Only thing that's different is the stickers. I'm gonna remove them because they were just really for the track day. The tire lettering of course is gonna stay because, well, you can't really remove it without ruining the tires. So, and plus these come with the Ventus, so they're not how you say, they're not like painted on or anything. They're actual rubber that are glued, so they become like part of the tire. But yeah, just a quick talk through because I've been asked a lot of questions about the track day with this car, because it wasn't like it was going up against well, non-track cars or cars of the same caliber or the same year even. It was going up against well, 2019 and 2020 GT3 RSs, 991-2s, and it's really, it was a handful on the track. I don't know if you want to see the video, I'm gonna put a link in the description and you can see the track day video. But this thing was an absolute monster on the track. It really was a handful. But as I said before, if someone is going to be really smooth with this, it's really going to perform really well. And the fact that that engine, really the engine is what shines. You have the torque and you have the power. Handling, the only thing is most of the guys, everybody on the track day was running on Cup 2s, Michelin Cup 2s, which is the standard tire on the GT3 RS and things like that. I'm running on the Hankook Ventus, and it's a great tire. It's a reasonably priced tire. I love them. And I go through tires a lot. That's why this is my choice of tire. Going through Cup 2s on a regular basis would be crazy. And plus I get more life on these than I would out of the Cup 2s, because the stickier the compound, the softer the compound, the less life you're gonna get out of it. Obviously the more grip and traction, but the less tread life you're gonna get. Yeah, no, it was really great. Still waiting on the roll cage. There's been so many delays. I was told mid-December and we're still in mid-December, so the roll cage is on the way. Bucket seats also from Sebelt. I'm still waiting on them to arrive in stock, because I love to do track days in a car that has a roll cage. I don't really like to go on track days, especially because I take my girl, I take my mom, I take family members, things like that. So I honestly never really use the rear seats ever. They're just there. I put handbags in them and stuff, and even when I have the roll cage, I'm still gonna have space to put stuff if I need to put anything. So for me, I know a lot of people are like, the rear seats are amazing and they're rare and you get them as an option and things like that. Yes, they are an option and they're rare. It's not like I'm going to throw them away. I'm going to keep them in the house if I ever need them. And the roll cage is a bolt-on, so it can be unbolted. But for me, I don't see myself ever going back to the rear seats. I'm just going to keep the roll cage inside. And yeah, I love the seat belts and everything for road use, like for driving it on the road. These seat belts, the standard seat belts, are brilliant. But when you have a sport bucket seat, this is a bucket seat almost. I mean, with the way it holds you and everything, it's good. But I need the 6-point harness for you and for your passenger. It's just safer for any car. I don't care what it is. It could be an M3, an old M3. It could be anything. A Honda Civic, I don't really care. If you have any car that you're going to track, I really do recommend putting sports seats or racing seats in particular, not just sports seats. And for safety reasons, and putting the 4-point harness or the 6-point harness. Me personally, I'm going with the 6-point harness. I already have the harnesses at home and everything's good to go. I'm waiting for the roll cage and the seats so we can go ahead and install everything. Supercharger, I put a hold on that because, to be honest, this thing was keeping up with cars on the track that it shouldn't have. I mean, we had GT2 RSs, obviously on the straights they say goodbye to me, but with the GT3s, this was passing. This car was passing some new GT3s, and I mean, being smooth, you just have to be really, really smooth. To get the maximum out of this car, you really have to be smooth on the track, and it's gonna want to bite, especially like I said with those tires. But it was really impressive. It impressed me, and I don't feel the need for more power. I wanted more power because honestly, when you're running around with people who have twin turbo Lamborghinis and things like that, you do kind of feel that you need that. But then when you go to a racetrack, no matter how much power the other people have, it's just a completely different game. I felt so comfortable in this car. I really didn't expect it to perform the way it did. One thing I'll say, for me, in my opinion, this was by far the best sounding car on the track. When it comes down the straight and when you're downshifting those gears, oh my god, that was just brilliant. I really do recommend, if you haven't watched the video of the track day, please do go back and watch the video of the track day with this car. It's really, really something. I also have a few onboards, which I did. Obviously, I put an exhaust mic, which is pretty loud. It makes the video a bit, I was told, a bit hard to watch because it's very loud. But honestly, that's not... I could have made it even louder because the exhaust mic was placed significantly way away from the exhaust. It wasn't like on the exhaust, so it was far away. If I put it closer to the exhaust, it would have been even louder. So yeah, it was really cool. Even you can see the calipers are black from all the braking application. And one thing I'll say about this car is the way this thing brakes, because these are not they're not ceramic brakes, they're steel brakes. They're large steel rotors, but they're still steel, they're not ceramic. With the GT3s and the GT2s, you had ceramic brakes, so the braking is significantly better. But again, just as I was impressed with this car with the road use, with the brake and the steel brakes, how they work, it really impressed me with how they work on the track, because this isn't an extremely light car, but they did brilliantly. And honestly, I wouldn't even want ceramic. Gearbox on the track, obviously you have to be more predicting when to shift gears. You have to also with the downshift, and yeah, if you know the car well, you can drive it great and it will really perform like a monster. It is a monster. I had so much fun with this car. I honestly don't think I would have had as much fun in the GT3. I mean, you can, when you're bored of setting lap times, you can just give it a bit more throttle on the exit, or for example, just flick it into the entry and it'll slide up until the curb. It'll exit and the rear tires will be on the curbs and you'll be making tire smoke and you'll be smiling like a baby. So yeah, it's a really, really, I don't need to say how much of a fun car it is, but it's just with all the questions I've been asked, because again, the more we go in time, we're going on 2021 now, and this car is 2012, so it's getting there. We're approaching the 10-year mark now, which is crazy. I mean, you look at this car and you think, wow, 10 years old. I don't feel like it's 10 years old at all. There are cars that were released last year and I go and I see them and I drive them right now and I'm like, what the heck? This looks very obsolete and drives, doesn't really make me happy. It's just boring. With this thing, I don't ever think I can get bored. And yeah, like I said, this one is here to stay. Things to do, like before I went on the track day, I know for people that have C63s, like the normal C63s, which are not normal, I absolutely love them. I don't even like calling them normal, but they, with regards to this, they will not handle track days, just to let you know. Even with the P31 package and the cooling, I would recommend extra cooling, extra radiators, because they do tend to overheat. So many people that are friends of mine have tried to track their C63s 4 or 5 laps in. Brakes are hot, the gearbox is hot, the engine is hot. Many times they've gone into limp mode. So for track days, really seriously, I know there's not many of the Blackseries, but the Blackseries with the track package is the more ideal one for a track day if you're going to track a C63. I'm not talking about the new turbos, because I'm not really a big fan. I love them, I love AMG, but I'm not a fan of the turbo engine. I'm just not. I love the naturally aspirated grunt and the power of this engine, of the M156. And a lot of people are like, oh no, don't rev at the bolts. They don't understand that with the Blackseries, the bolts and everything, they were all updated. And even they were updated before that with the release of the 2012 engine. They made a recall and they did all the bolts, and everything has been changed, and the cranks too, and the crank bearings and bearing holders, things like that. Yeah. Oh, and with regards to the gold, I've been hearing a lot of people, they're like, wow, great, reflect heat back to the engine. That's not the point. The point of this isn't to reflect heat back or away from the engine. The engine can handle the heat. This carbon is strong. It's not going to dissolve. This isn't to protect the engine. This makes the hood gets really hot, because the OEM heat reflector I took out, and that's the OEM heat reflector doesn't just suppress heat for the hood. So when you put your hand on the hood, it can actually burn because it gets pretty hot. It's not hot enough to damage the hood, but it's hot enough to really hurt your hand when you put it there. And that's the reason why I put the gold. One, it looks better. Two, it's reflects heat even better than the OEM. But the OEM, the main function for the OEM heat shield was not really the heat shield. It just suppresses the sound of the engine, things like that. Whether there's any knockings or sounds, it kind of suppresses it from the front. And I personally like to hear all sounds that are going on underneath the hood. So I removed that mainly for the noise. And plus I think the gold looks better, so it just worked. It worked better. I love the subtle details. Even when you look from here, you can see the carbon. And these are the bigger, of course, these are the upgraded hood vents. These suck in air much more. I think 25% more than the OEM scoops and inlets that it had. So yeah. I'm gonna shut up and do a quick walk around the car. Start the engine, start the car. Oh, and I've been asked some things. I've been asked, why does the driver's side have the electronic adjustment and the passenger side doesn't? Because in the Blackseries, the passenger side doesn't have that. It's manually adjustable because to reduce weight of the seat. So people think that by replacing these seats with the racing seats, I'm actually going to save a lot of weight. Yes, with the driver's seat. No, with the passenger seat. It's not really a big significant weight change. It is, but it's not something so drastic. So yeah, that's why this isn't there. It's only on this side because it's more focused on the driver than the passenger. So yeah. Another thing, let's look at the system. I want to show. I needed these a lot on the track. Going on a track day, taking a car without a tire pressure monitoring system is pretty difficult because you really need to know what pressure your tires are running at. You got the horsepower, things like that. Obviously you got the data, you got the race, yes, we know, only for racetracks. G meter, you can actually draw out the track, and you can do launch control, 0 to 60, do the quarter mile. Also tells you how many seconds you hit 60. I'm not gonna try that now because it's freaking cold and there is no traction, and it's not like this car was built on traction. So, yep, I like to keep it on temperature because I like to keep being informed on what's going on. And one thing is, I didn't really do so much before with my other cars in the past, is warm up the gearbox. But in general, with most cars now, I'm really, I want to say, more cautious. And before I drive the car rough, I really like to pay attention, and I like to warm up the gearbox. Make sure that it just gets up to temperature before I start really hammering the throttle. Yeah. Another thing I'll say, that I know this isn't a proper double clutch like a PDK or things like that. It's just a wet, not a wet clutch, but like a twin disc system or whatever they call it. Yeah. It was really quick. It did the job on the track. Very happy with how this thing performed. Yeah, and don't worry, I'm not gonna bore you with just a talking video. We're gonna go for a drive right now, and I'm gonna put the head mount for the camera, and we'll do like a quick cruise. Another thing I want to say is, I know I'm parked in the middle of the road, but again, I keep saying this in most of my videos, 99% of the time when I do my videos, I'm on private roads owned by companies which I have permission to be on on weekends, things like that, or special days when there's no work or whatever. So these are private roads, so don't judge the way I park. And obviously the way I drive on these roads is different from the way I drive on public roads. You can't really drive too crazy over there. So yeah, let's get the onboard camera. Let's go for a little cruise. Just a little bit. All right, let's blast. You gotta see this. You gotta see this. You gotta see this. That was just one. Holy crap. Look at that. Look at that. That was barely. That was literally. I could have done worse. I could have pulled it all the way to here. She's just an animal. She's a beast. I don't want to destroy the tires, please. I just got these. Look. Look at this. No, it's too cold. It's gonna struggle for traction, so I don't want to do too much of that. But look at that. It's just hard because most of the time I do these videos I'm on my own, so but you know what, the tires smell great. Tires smoke. We're going on public roads now. I'm not gonna do anything crazy or anything like that. I'm just gonna drive it. I'm so glad this Blackseries has the full track package, full everything, aero. Like, there was no option spared on this car, so for that I'm very thankful, because they are pretty different to drive. I've driven a few without the track package and you can tell engine temperature goes up quickly, things like that, gearbox. They're still fantastic cars, but they can't be driven as hard, that's a fact. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video on the Blackseries. I'll try to do more for Blackie. It's just I have a few other cars to review. I really haven't been driving her much since the track day. This is really the first time I've been driving her. She's just been hibernating. I had to check the tire pressure, and I had to make sure the bolts are torqued down and things like that, just to make sure after the track day. And I did an alignment for the car before I went on the track day, changed the filters. Well, didn't really change the filters. I just did the whole K&N refresh thing and cleaned them and checked the oil, did an alignment. But after the track day, the thing is, those curbs are really pretty. Some curbs are really aggressive, and I kind of was, I mean, to keep up with the, well, trying to keep up with the GT2 and GT3s and things like that. GT3s I could keep up, but the GT2, man, that thing is a beast on the straight line. So I had to really eat as much curbs as I could and really jump on those curbs to make up for the the loss and the straight with the GT2, but with the GT3s it was I would say in some cases even more powerful, and you can see that in the videos. And this is more power than the new GT3s anyways. It's just those cars are a little bit lighter, but yeah, given the tires and given the situation, I do think with better tires, I think with more sticky tires, I want to say you can at least drop the lap time on that small track by 1.5 seconds, maybe even more. If I'm trying to think, because these tires are really meant for road use and for sliding and things like that. That's the reason I have them. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video on the Blackseries. I'll try to do more. For now, it's just getting a bit cold, not really driving her much, and yeah, like I said, I'm trying to focus on doing a few other car things, so it's taking me time, but I'll keep doing the videos on the Blackseries. And the Raptor too, I've been kind of neglecting this guy. I haven't driven him for 3 months, so I'm planning to get him out, but again, it's getting really cold now, and so not really getting enough time with the bike. But anyways, we'll see what happens, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. Ciao, till next time.